What's on the menu today? Footwork flaws in setting. Don't worry, it won't be about beginner stumbles, but subtle footwork mistakes that mess up even the smartest setters. Today, we'll help decode and fix these shortcomings. We're focusing on those who already know how to set properly, but oh no, their feet sometimes take over and create a choreography of their own.
Before we dive in, let's clear up one thing. What's a smart reaction to a situation? And what's just laziness or careless footwork? Even the best setters sometimes set on the run, but that doesn't mean we can say, forget the feet, just get the ball over somehow. From the very beginning, we must know exactly what we expect from our players. First of all, the setter must be able to precisely get to the spot where the ball is supposed to meet them. And not just get there, but stop there. No jogging through, no floating steps. They must also establish a stable position before jumping.
So what definitely don't we want? We don't want the player to slack off during those low-profile drills, which might not look glamorous but are crucial for proper footwork. If the setter doesn't use their feet, they'll mess up the second touch. We don't want sloppiness when it's time to get to the right spot, stop, and set the ball overhead. And when will it be completely obvious? During heading drills, where the setter must find a stable position and process the ball with the forehead.
Exactly. This is a whole different ball game, and that's precisely why we can't lower our standards for future players. We need to keep drilling them, patiently and systematically, with dozens of exercises that quietly but surely correct their movements.
Some drills might look a little ridiculous, but trust me, every single one has its purpose. And sure, sometimes the drill alone won't fix the player, and we need to step in, gently, patiently, but firmly. Like here, you have to stop in a stable position, not balance on one foot. This is how it should look.
Enough with the volleyball preschool. We're talking about setters now, no ordinary volleyball crowd. Setters are the royalty of volleyball, and we need to raise the bar for them. Here, we assume they've already mastered the basic footwork sequences, so it's time to turn up the heat. More balls in the drills, less time to adjust positioning. Now this is where the real fun begins. See? It's paying off. This guy doesn't even realize he's using his feet anymore. They work automatically. Without good footwork, you'll never be able to play these kinds of combinations. Feet work, mind thinks, hands create. That's exactly how it should be.
But hold on, it won't be that easy. We'll shine a light on more flaws blocking our path. First, when a player flies right past the ideal contact point like a runaway drone. Second, when they finish the movement with a long step that destroys their balance like a billiard ball scattering across the table. So our first major topic is on the table.
And this brings us to our first key insight. The setter's movement must start with long, fast strides, but must finish with small adjustment steps. These tiny steps help to break the movement and fine-tune the position for perfect ball contact. Let's count it together. How many tiny adjustment steps does a setter take to perfectly calibrate their position for setting? Correct. 5 small steps within a single square meter.
Now let's compare it. Yes, the start, the long strides, looks fine. But the finish, that's where it falls apart. No breaking, no adjustment steps. And here, same story again. Let's get to fixing it. We have the boys catch the ball exactly where the contact should happen. Why with a basketball? We know why. And immediately, the same mistake. The boys fly past the ideal contact spot and land completely somewhere else.
But here, now it's a different story. We're adding smart little adjustment steps, breaking the movement, and stopping exactly where we need to. We're catching the ball at the right spot. This is exactly what we want to see. And now let's jump into real court action. The U20 category, top-level youth volleyball. See? Even here it's clear. Without proper footwork, there's no chance for quality ball handling. We'll talk about hand technique another time. Today's focus is simple. From early childhood, we train the legs, consistently, repeatedly, consciously, because everything starts with the feet.
Believe me when I say what you don't set up and automate correctly now, you'll struggle to fix later. Movement patterns aren't clay. Once they're molded wrong, creativity won't save you. No technique means no tactics. And without tactics, only chaos. And look closely here. This girl is only 12 years old, but her feet already know the right path.
And then we have footwork in the air. Once the player loses ground support, they must find another source of stability. And without support, as we know, there's no controlled movement. Their new base of support becomes their own body, primarily their core. But players at this age don't yet have enough core strength, so they compensate differently, by bending and then straightening their legs, just like we see in spiking mechanics. In adults, especially men, this kicking effect disappears. They have enough strength, so they only need the wrist, forearm, and support from the torso and shoulders.
Here's something important we need to clarify. We're reaching a point that's only partially related to footwork, but we must mention it. When we say that adult players generate their set mainly with their arms, it doesn't mean the legs and torso are on vacation. This lack of footwork applies only to the airborne phase, the moment when the player is already in the air. But before that, the legs are crucial. They help the player find the ideal ball contact position. And without them, no magical wrist action could save the set. So yes, at that moment, the legs are out of the game, but they made sure the setter got to the right place in the first place.
And once the player is hanging in the air with the legs taking a break, they must rely fully on what's left: arms, forearms, wrists, and fingers. That's now their support, their engine, and their control center. And we have smart tools for this. We use unstable surfaces, like a Bosu ball, foam pad, or a gym ball, or at least a one-leg balance stance. What happens? The player loses certainty under their feet, but doesn't waste energy on unnecessary jumps. No high jump records, no chasing distances, just focused setting in unstable conditions. Once we know the player can set properly and has mastered footwork, it's time to add another skill: adaptation to reality. Because volleyball is not a lab exercise, and on the court, it's sometimes pure chaos. One of those classic moments comes when the setter knows they won't reach the ball with both feet, but doesn't want to resort to a bump set, because a setter bumps only in absolute emergencies. So what do they pull out of their pocket? An elegant pivot spin around the right foot, quick spin, and boom, a full value set that looks almost textbook perfect.
So back to the court, back to training, and the basketball, because that thing won't forgive a single mistake. There's no, I'll fake it with a basketball. It shows everything brutally and honestly, but watch out. We're not talking about some lazy hop off one foot when you have all the time in the world. We're talking about situations where you have to be directly under the ball and push off with both feet. No slacking off, buddy.
Now, this looks better. This has some real energy. And here you have it, the Italian master Gianelli in action. But let's be clear, even top players sometimes allow themselves to set off one foot, even when they technically don't have to. Why? Because they use it as a deceptive move. They confuse the opponent's defense. That's higher level setter magic. And us, we'll let our young players grow into it later. Right now, we'll push them relentlessly into solid, honest footwork. Because without fundamentals, there is no magic.
But we're not dogmatic. If the situation demands it, we'll absolutely accept a push-off from the left foot. After all, even the master setters do it. To sum it up, at the core is honest craftsmanship. And on top of that stands smart improvisation. The most important thing, that the setter isn't limited by bad technique, especially not bad footwork technique, so they can unleash their creativity freely. That's it for today. Next time we'll focus on the hands.